I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You will never be what I expected. Different frequencies, that's why we ain't connected. You know I will make it through, I got nothing to lose but you. It's true you're so far away, and it's true I can feel the same. It's another day, you know you want me to stay, but I go my way. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You're my gravity. You're calling out my name, but the echo numbs your pain. Sorry, but more than just a shadow, I'm more than just a man. You don't care how I feel, you don't know how I feel. No, you don't know how. I wash away the sorrow till my heart can beat again. You're my gravity. No, you're my gravity. I will let you go, the only thing that I know. You were my gravity, but now I have to leave. I will let you go. Why do you feel that I want? What do you think that I want? I know how to breathe into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity. I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not.
Warning. The Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
Talking about my generation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here to the Manasas Speedway as it plays host to the second race weekend for both the Duracell Ultra Lite Series and Duracell Next Gen Cup Series drivers, coming off the heels of what was an action-packed weekend at Daytona International Speedway. Getting ready for a longer type speedway race here this weekend, one of the 3 2-mile racetracks that we will visit during the course of the schedule for both the Lights and the Cup Series side, but maybe one of the more overlooked 2-mile speedways based on the fact that we go to Auto Club, it's the race where it's the last opportunity to get into the playoffs, it's the regular season finale. We go to Michigan, it's where the championship is decided in the overall season finale. But this is, I think, the place where everybody's going to want to take notes, figure stuff out here. If you head into Auto Club to make the playoffs or head into Michigan to win the championship in possibly a must-win situation, you can go back, look at the notes of what you were able to learn here at Manasas, and it may end up being exactly the formula you needed to be able to either advance or to be able to win the overall championship here this season, and this counts for both series. 15 minutes will be on the clock. 26 drivers here in Manasas for the Light Series, as we'll have them take to the track and, of course, set the starting lineup for tomorrow's Virginia 120. We won't see the Cup drivers on track until tomorrow. The reason that it's 26 drivers as opposed to the 29 we had run last week at Daytona is, surprisingly enough, I hype up this racetrack and how you're going to want to take notes and everything if you're both in Lights and in Cup, and none of our Cup Series interlopers are attempting to try and make the field here this week. It looks like we have no All-Star car for the 01, no All-Star car for the 55, and no All-Star car for the 16. We do have the 11 car for Trackhouse Racing in the field, but it's not going to be Cup Series driver Reggie Fogelman. Instead, it is Lights driver Sarah Fogelman. So, interesting point of note. I guess maybe the Cup drivers just want to focus on the Cup side here this weekend, but we'll see how it plays out as Sean Galligan will be the first one onto the racetrack. And man, coming up with hard luck last week at Daytona. We saw maybe one of the closest finishes we've had in the Duracell Next Gen and Cup and Lights. We know it's definitely the closest we've had in Lights overall. 2 1,000ths of a second. Skylar Taylor picks up the victory over Sean Galligan. Galligan, though, got some good points. He's second in overall stands and looks to transfer that over here this week. Maybe get that one position better. It marked Mazda's first win in the Light Series. Mazda went 1-2, obviously, in that photo finish. It was also Skylar Taylor's third win of his Duracell Ultra Light Series career in only what was his 14th career start. Many will remember he did not run the entire 20 races last year in Season 1 and still came out of that season a 2-time winner. Lap times will start scrolling in as 2 minutes have already passed by here in this qualifying session. Galligan should be laying down the first official lap time of this qualifying session, and it is a 39.1 1-1. Start to see other drivers clocking in their lap times here. Nathan Fogler coming out onto the racetrack in the number 13. Fogler finishing 28th last week at Daytona. That was the lowest of the drivers in terms of those that finished the race. That rolled off the grid, I should say. So he's looking for a bounce back week. Nathan Stapleton, he was 18th last week at Daytona. So he's also looking to climb his way through the points. I mean, if you're going to get a good run after a hardship run at Daytona, better to do it the following week because the points are so close together. Even Mike Tellier, who didn't even get to complete a lap last week at Daytona, is only 34 points out of the points lead. He could jump up into the top 10 in points with a win tomorrow afternoon. So you cannot give up just because you didn't start out the season exactly the way that you were hoping to. Wes McCoy in the 8. He was 12th last week at Daytona, so he's knocking just on the door of the top 10. And remember, too, the new playoff system we have here for the Lite Series. Last season, we didn't have a playoff system. It was the Winston Cup points. Whoever got the most points at the end of the season, regardless of how many wins they had, etc., they won the championship. Eric Monaco was said driver. This season, though, we're going to have 10 drivers make it into the playoffs. 6 drivers going to get in via points, and 4 drivers will get in via wildcard spots. Juan Garcia, he was the pole sitter last week at Daytona, so he's going to look for back-to-back trips to the inside of the front row. Finished 11th last week at Daytona after that pole position. Right behind him is Colin Grace, top 15 last week, 13th. And the number 27, 19 out of Trackhouse Racing, the 27 out of Haas Racing. Of course, Haas Racing coming into this weekend with a lot of momentum on the Cup side, with team owner Matt Haas picking up his 2nd career Daytona 500 victory. There's last week's winner, the Costco Mazda MX-5 of Skylar Taylor. And obviously, as consequence, your points leader coming into this week. One thing that I failed to mention last week, Skylar Taylor winning that race, but he did so from dead last. The number 29 started P29. He pulled off the last to first challenge at Daytona. So that just shows how strong a race car he had, how well he did in maneuvering through traffic, because we had lap traffic during the course of that race, and of course as well, picking the right line, getting that optimal side draft down the front straightaway to just barely edge out another Mazda and Sean Galligan for that victory. He's looking to the inside of Brody Kupski in the 41. Kupski was out in front for a good portion of last week's race at Daytona, but ended up having an issue where he got hooked off of turn 4. I think it was by Nick Gunther, if I recall correctly. Never recovered, had right side damage for a majority of the second half of the race and limped it home in the 23rd spot. That's where he comes into this race point standings wise. Cole Corby in the 38 was a bit of a non-factor late in last week's race as he finished out the evening in 21st. And there is Sarah Fogelman. She'll be making her first career Lite Series start tomorrow afternoon in the number 11. Reggie Fogelman was in that car last week and brought it home in the 9th position at Daytona. Sarah Fogelman is running for points. Reggie Fogelman obviously not running for points. I think we're going to see Reggie Fogelman that is, back in the car next week at Las Vegas. Eli Bright, another of the Trackhouse Racing cars, number 20 car. Finished out 10th last week at Daytona. Good start to his year. Right behind him, Ralph Mason in the 66. One of 2 drivers out of Garage 55 to finish in the top 10 last week. Ralph finishing 7th. And Kyle Anglin also had a great run at Daytona, finishing in the 5th position. Looking for another consistent run here this week. Wes McCoy is at the top of the board for those watching the lap time scrolling across with 8 minutes left in the session. 37.097, almost a full 10th over Jackson Haywood. And as soon as I say that, We've got a tie at the top of the board. Cole Koibe just clocked in at a 37.097 as well. And at the moment, they've got Cole Koibe scored ahead of Wes McCoy. If we do have a tie, it would come down to who is the highest in the point standings, which right now that would be McCoy, who is 12th, Koibe 21st. So that's how the tiebreaker would actually work. If you're looking at Roberto Crown Jr., another of the Trackhouse cars. Roberto Crown Jr. 14th last week. Of course, was a winner last season and looks to try to get back to victory lane here in Season 2. Cam Wright Jr. in the 95. Last week marked his first career start in the Duracell Ultralight Series, and he brought it home in 6th position after starting back in 19th place. So, great run for him out of Southern Cross Motorsports. Jordan Anderson right now, P11, and the Joanna Atwood Motorsports number 89 entry. Jordan finished 20th last week at Daytona. As you see Nathan Stapleton on pit road. There's David Dixon, 3-time winner last season. Podium finisher last week at Daytona. Thought he might have something to take it 3 wide out of turn 4 on Sean Galligan and Skylar Taylor, but he just couldn't quite get to the inside of Galligan. Ended up being the pusher, if you will, for the 62 down through the tri-oval. Just couldn't quite edge Galligan over the 29. Autumn Brooks in the 60. Autumn had a pit road issue last week, which gave her damage. Ran into the back of, I'm trying to remember who the car was, but took her out of the race. Pushed the radiator in, and Autumn Brooks ended up finishing in 25th. Daytona was not a kind weekend to Autumn Brooks. Not only did she end up DNFing in the lights race, but failed to qualify for the Daytona 500 as well. She'll attempt to qualify tomorrow for the Cup Series race. Jackson Haywood, he had a car that was very strong last week. Was able to fight his way up to the front multiple times. The end result did not show how good of a car he had, though, as he brought it home in the 16th position. Remember, Jackson ended up coming to pit road near the close of the race. I think it was on the white flag lap, and subsequently did not garner the position nor the points that it looked like he was actually going to get early on in the evening. Dave Smith, number 15 out of Adrenaline Motorsports. Right now he is P2. As we've had a couple new drivers jump up to the top of the board. It was a tie between Koibe and McCoy. Now 3 other drivers have leapfrogged them. Aubrey Powell is at the top of the board as she's heading to pit road there in the 71. Dave Smith has jumped up to 2nd. And Chris Dollerton, the former Duracell Cup Series champion, is right now sitting in P3. All of them in the 37.0s. Aubrey Powell with a 37.005. Cody Majoric, right now 26th on the board for him. That is last of all the drivers that have taken time at this point. Cody Majoric 15th last week at Daytona, but he's not getting the benefit of draft, being all by his lonesome. Same can be said for both of these drivers. Wes McCoy currently 5th on the board in the 8, and you've got Kat Batson there in the 39. Kat was another driver that was a victim of pit road issues and finished out of the race in the 27th position. So looking to bounce back here this week. There's 3rd on the board, Chris Dollerton, the Michael Norman Motorsports entry. Dollerton, who last week finished in 19th at Daytona. Looking to build off of that, get himself into the top 10. Let's find the 71 of Aubrey Powell, see if she's come back onto the racetrack. Saw her, she was on pit road. Sarah Fogelman's on pit road. That's Cole Koibe there. Aubrey Powell, yeah, they brought her down. They might send her back out, or they might be waiting to see if anybody tops their lap time. And if it's going to be somebody, it probably will be from this group. There's Mike Tellier in the 17. Right now he is 11th on the board. Of course, he never got to take the green flag last week at Daytona. Couldn't get off the grid and ended up having a mechanical failure before the green flag even flew. He's obviously dead last in points, if that needed explaining. And so he's looking to turn his first official lap of the season tomorrow afternoon. And obviously would love to be able to, if not get a win, would love to get a top 5 to be able to gain back a lot of the points that he lost last week at Daytona. As things currently stand, Aubrey Powell and Dave Smith would be the front row for tomorrow's second race of the season. As we take a look here at what is around the turn for this weekend. Tomorrow afternoon, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we've got the Cup Series drivers here for their qualifying session at Manasas. And then following that at 3 p.m., it is the Duracell Ultralight Series drivers in the Virginia 120, 60 laps here at this 2-mile speedway. And then on Sunday, it's the Cup drivers' second race of the season as they'll take to this Manasas Speedway for the Virginia 160 off the heels of the Daytona 500. Matt Haas will look to go for 2 in a row to start off the season. That's what's around the turn, brought to you by NNSCRA Paint Designs. Aubrey Powell has returned back to the racetrack there, running in the draft of fellow Haas Racing Toyota Supra Cole Koibe. Looks like it would be Toyota, Chevy, Ford, Toyota, Toyota. The top 5 as things are right now. Then Jackson Haywood's Ford in 6th, and a couple of Mazdas, Sean Galligan, Autumn Brooks in 7th and 8th. And as soon as I say that, Autumn Brooks now jumps from 7th up to 6th, putting Jackson Haywood down to 7th. So now Autumn is the highest of the Mazdas on the speed charts. Rest of the top 10, Nathan Fogler and Sarah Fogelman's Toyota Supras, completing that out. Some drivers are going to be starting out back, including Cody Majorek. Situation has not improved for him speed-wise. Skylar Taylor, our points leader right now, is only 24th of the 26 drivers. Roberto Crown Jr. back there as well. So some pretty big names. Going to be pretty deep in the field, but I guess if we learned anything from last week with Skylar Taylor, starting out back is not necessarily a horrible thing. If you got a strong enough car, you can make your way up there to the front, and you can pick up that checkered flag. 60 laps tomorrow, so it will be a pretty lengthy one for these drivers. We are expecting the possibility of a pit stop. It's not going to be crazy like it was at Daytona. They are, for the speedways, going to increase the fuel cell capacity. But I'm pretty sure, at least with the Lights drivers, with the CTS physics, they're going to have to come to pit road at least once during the 60-lap event. Not sure about the Cup drivers with PTA physics. We'll find that out when we get there. But they will have an extra 20 laps distance in their race length. Zero's on the clock, and Aubrey Powell's 37.005 is going to hold court. So Powell, for the first time in her Duracell Light Series career, is going to be the one to bring us to green tomorrow afternoon here at Manasas. Aubrey Powell coming into this race 22nd in points. If track position is important, that's going to be huge for the young driver out of the Haas Racing stable. And Dave Smith will share the front row with her. Dave coming off of a 17th place run last week at Daytona. So nobody up, at least at the front, that had really good momentum at Daytona, looking like they're going to be starting close to the front here tomorrow afternoon. I believe the highest in the point standings that's starting up towards the front's Wes McCoy, who's going to be 5th, and he's outside the top 10, 12th in overall points. So it will be interesting to see if we will get a points shakeup depending on what happens in tomorrow's second race of the season. Standings are now indeed official, and we'll show them to you now. This is the way your lineup will look for tomorrow afternoon's Virginia 120. Aubrey Powell and Dave Smith will be on the front row. Chris Dollerton and Cole Koibe in row 2. Wes McCoy completes the top 5. He'll be alongside of Autumn Brooks in row 3. Nathan Stapleton picked up some lap time there in the second half of this session, moved up to 7th. Jackson Haywood drops to 8th. And then Sean Galligan and Nathan Fogler are going to be the top 10 for tomorrow afternoon's race. That's all we've got here today. Cup qualifying tomorrow, the Lights race tomorrow, and the Cup race on Sunday. But the race weekend from Manasas continues here on NNSCRA TV. Thank you all for tuning into this qualifying session. If you enjoyed it, Be sure to give this video a like, subscribe part of the crew today. We'll see you guys tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. for Cup qualifying here as we continue on our Manasas race weekend. But until then, I've been Seth Cole. Congratulations to Aubrey Powell on winning the pole here this weekend. And we will see you guys tomorrow as you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of NNSCRA TV, offline racing at its best.
The following has been a presentation of NNSCRA TV for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of the NNSCRA is prohibited. NNSCRA would like to thank all of our loyal fans, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.